Hi guys, my name is Miss Emily and I'm a children's librarian at the Asheboro Public Library. Today I wanted to take a few minutes to practice being mindful with you. Being mindful means that we're paying special attention to how we're feeling and to what's going on around us. One way we can practice being mindful is by paying attention to how we feel when we move and stretch in a certain way. One type of stretching we can do is called yoga, and that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we start doing our yoga, we have to do our warm-up. Our warm-up helps warm our muscles up so that they're all ready to do our bigger stretches when we get to our story time. So let's go ahead and warm up with our warm-up song. If you know the warm-up song, you can go ahead and sing along as we do our warm-up stretches. Or if you don't know the song, that's totally okay. You can go ahead and follow along with the stretches that we're doing on screen. So our warm-up song goes like this. Extend and stretch, extend and stretch, twist and turn, twist and turn. This is yoga, this is yoga. Om sweet om, om sweet om. Good job, you guys. My muscles are already starting to feel warmer. Now we can go ahead and hop, or maybe bunny hop, into our yoga story time, because today's storybook is Yoga Bunny by Brian Russo. And we are reading this with permissions from HarperCollins Publishers, so let's give a big thank you to them. So let's go ahead and practice our yoga stretches with Bunny. One morning, Bunny crawled out of his hole, rubbed his eyes, and let out a big yawn. This is a perfect morning to do yoga, he said. Bunny dropped his head and arms down toward his feet, coming into a forward fold. So let's go ahead and get up onto our feet. And then if you want, you can stretch your hands all the way up towards the sky. And then you're gonna start slowly bringing your head down, just like Bunny, and then reaching to the ground. And because you're folding forward like this, that's called a forward fold, just like Bunny did. Now, let's see what else happens in our story. Just then, Lizard came walking by. Good morning, Lizard, said Bunny. Would you like to do yoga with me? I hate everything about mornings. I wish I could go back to bed, Lizard replied angrily. And with that, Lizard stomped away. Bunny was disappointed, but he took a deep breath, placed his hands on the ground, stepped backward, and lifted his hips up high into the air, coming into downward dog. So let's go ahead and do what Bunny's doing in our stretch. We're gonna go ahead and bring our hands down to the ground again, and then we're gonna step our feet back and pop our hips up in the air. And that's downward dog, just like Bunny was doing. Now I'm gonna bring my knees down to the ground because I can't read in downward dog. So let's go ahead and look back at our book. Now Bunny's friend Fox came hurrying by. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Look how fast he's going. He was moving so fast he startled Bunny. Out of my way, Bunny, he said. I'm in a very big rush. Maybe you could take a minute and do this yoga pose with me, Bunny suggested. It might help you slow down. No thanks, Fox replied. I'd rather be in a big rush than do something so silly. And he hurried away. Bunny felt a little bit sad, but he took a deep breath, stood up tall, placed his hands in front of his heart, and balanced on one foot, coming into tree pose. So to follow along with the bunny, you can stand up on your feet, bring your hands in front of your heart, and then balance on one leg. So I'm gonna stay on my knees and I'm gonna keep my hands right here just so I can keep reading, okay? Just then, Bird flew down, landing right on Bunny's head. Hiccup! I have a bad case of the hiccups, and I've tried everything to stop them, said Bird. Well, Bunny said, maybe you can do this tree pose with me. It can calm you down, and that might help with your hiccup. No way, Bird said. I'd rather live with these hiccups than stand on one leg. And with that, Bird flew away. Will anyone ever want to do yoga with me? Bunny wondered aloud. But then he reminded himself that doing yoga alone is better than not doing yoga at all. Just as Bunny took a deep breath, stepped back, bent his front leg, and reached his arms way up, coming into warrior pose, 2 little mice came walking by. Now, before we learn what the mice are going to say, you can go ahead and go into your warrior pose, just like Bunny told you. To do that, you'll stay standing, you'll bring 1 foot forward, and you'll leave 1 foot back, and then you'll reach your arms up towards the sky. Or if you want to stay lower to the ground like I am today, instead of coming into warrior, you can go ahead and come into a little bit of a lunge with 1 knee on the ground and 1 knee up front and bent. And you can still bring your arms up just like in warrior. And that's a really good stretch. You can even bring your back up, turn up and look at the sky. And let's go ahead and see what the mice think of Bunny's yoga. What do you think he's reaching for? Whispered one of the mice. I don't know, but it must be very valuable. We'd better reach for it too. And so the little mice stepped back, bent their front legs, and reached their arms way up, coming into warrior pose just like Bunny. As they had their arms stretched way up and their eyes towards the sky, they noticed Bird flying by. Bird still had the hiccups, but he came down to join them, pressing his wings together in front of his heart, lifting up 1 leg and coming into tree pose. So move your leg back from where you are in warrior pose or lunge and bring your hands back to your heart, and we're doing tree pose again. Take a big deep breath in and then breathe out. And let's see what happens next. All of a sudden, they heard a loud noise. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Do we remember who goes really fast? The fox. So Fox came hurrying by and saw the friends standing in a circle, and he pressed his hands to the ground, stepped back, and lifted his hips, coming into downward dog, just like Bunny, the mice, and the Bird. And here we can see Bunny, the mice, Bird, and now Fox too are taking the time to slow down and do downward dog. So from your tree pose, you can go ahead, step your feet back, drop your hands down, and push your hips up into downward dog. I'm gonna bring my knees back down so I can go ahead and keep reading our story, but you guys can stay in downward dog. If you're not feeling comfortable in downward dog, that's okay. You can lower your knees too and find a stretch that works comfortably for you. So let's keep going with our story. Now we see that Fox has joined us, and the Bird has joined us, and the mice have joined us. Who do you think is going to join us next? Bunny took a deep breath and lay down flat on his back, coming into resting pose. When Lizard came walking back and lay down just like Bunny. So now if you'd like, you can go ahead and lay down on your back and come into resting pose. You can do that by laying flat down on your back. I'm gonna go ahead and come back onto the ground and sit crisscross applesauce so we can finish our story. But while you're in resting pose, if you like, you can close your eyes or you can keep them open so you can see the pictures in our book. Bunny was so happy his friends had joined him. that he opened his mouth and let out a big Om. And everyone else did the same. And here we can see that all of Bunny's friends that didn't want to do yoga with him are now doing yoga with him and coming to the final resting pose with him. I know where I'm supposed to be, said Fox, not so angry anymore. It's here. Thank you, Yoga Bunny. And here we can see that all the friends are gathered up together. They're all taking the time to not be so angry, to slow down. And hey, Bird doesn't have hiccups anymore either. And then here on the last page, we can all see them coming into warrior position together. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I really like that book. Not only did Yoga Bunny show his friends how to do cool yoga poses, but he also showed them that it can help them be mindful. When Lizard comes by, he's really angry, and Yoga Bunny wants him to do yoga with him so that he might be able to get control of his anger and not be so upset anymore. When Fox comes by, he's in such a big hurry, and Bunny suggests that he do some yoga so he can slow down for a minute. But he doesn't want to slow down, he wants to be in a rush. And when Bird comes by, Bird has hiccups. Bunny suggests that maybe yoga will help him calm down through mindfulness, and maybe that'll help the hiccups go away. But Bird doesn't want to. But when the mice come along and start doing yoga with him, suddenly Bunny's friends realize that yoga isn't so weird and it can really be helpful. And in the end, we see them all a lot calmer and happier and enjoying their time together and being mindful of the happiness that being together brings them. Just like Bunny said, doing yoga by yourself is better than not doing yoga at all, because it means that you're caring enough about yourself and your body to give yourself a nice mindful stretch and to give yourself a break, to slow down and pay attention to how you're feeling. But that doesn't mean that we can't also enjoy it with our friends and family, just like Bunny did. And it was so nice to see Bunny's friends overcome whatever problems they were facing once they took a minute to be mindful of how they were feeling. So that was Yoga Bunny by Brian Russo, and that's available for checkout through the Randolph County Public Library. Just like Bunny had fun stretching with his friends, I had fun stretching with you. Thank you guys for practicing being mindful with me today. I put new mindfulness videos out on the first Monday of every month on the Randolph County Public Library YouTube and Facebook pages. Now, before we say goodbye, let's go ahead and sing our goodbye song. If you know the song, you can sing along, but if not, that's okay. You can just wave goodbye or stretch goodbye to all of our friends that are watching here today. So the song goes, thanks for stretching, thanks for listening, thanks for being here today. Now that story time is over, I hope you have a lovely day. Bye, guys.